So it's been a rather a rough week for emerging markets. Now, emerging markets, for those of you who don't know, is kind of like a catch-all phrase for a bunch of sort of shitty second-string nations like Brazil, South Africa, Indonesia, Argentina, Turkey. As The Economist magazine once joked, emerging markets are the kind of places from which it is hard to emerge in a hurry, referring, of course, to bond markets and equity markets. And recently you'd have to say these places have been behaving more like submerged markets than emerging markets. The reasons vary this time, but chief amongst them are this guy, the arsehole of the week, Recep Gollum from the Lord of the Rings, Erdogan, the head of state in Turkey, who has gone out of his way to try and wreck that economy by passing major hikes to the minimum wages, engaging in reckless commentary about the Turkish lira, that's their currency. He declared, amongst other things, that interest rates are a tool of exploitation. What does that even mean? He believes that if there's high inflation, you should cut interest rates because that's the only way to bring relief to the people. You know what I mean? He's got some odd ideas about economics. This week, he basically fired the entire management team and board of Turkey's sovereign wealth fund and replaced them with himself. So far from being a tool of exploitation, I think Mr. Erdogan, in fact, is a tool of exploitation. Right, so the iPhones, the new ones from Apple are out at the big reveal last night. We now have the iPhone X and the iPhone XS Max. Sounds amazing. I'm beginning to wonder whether this iPhone X of mine, which I bought last year, I don't know, maybe I should trade it in or give it to someone and get the newest phone. But maybe that would be excessive. I'm sorry. I'll let myself out. Look, the fact of the matter is you must have the most recent phone with all of the fancy features and the best cameras and all the rest of it if you're going to look good on Instagram. The American Society of Plastic Surgeons apparently has just revealed statistics showing that nearly 230,000 teenagers in America got plastic surgery last year. In particular, nose jobs, injections, all that sort of thing. And why? Well, the number one reason being cited is that people want to look like their heroes on Instagram. I think young people these days need to take a long, hard look at themselves and reconsider their choices. Except, long, hard look at themselves, well, that's kind of what they're doing already. So this woman is a writer, a novelist. Her name is Nancy Crampton Brophy. She's written a number of books, some of them published, not big sellers, let's be honest, but, you know, the kind of romance thrillers where rugged males, dark-haired beauties, run away with someone new kind of stories. One of them had the title Hell on the Heart, and another one was called The Wrong Husband. She also wrote an unpublished essay apparently called How to Murder Your Husband some years ago. Well, you know where this one is going. Her much-beloved spouse of 27 years was a chef at a local culinary school in Portland, Oregon, until 3 months ago when he was gunned down, shot at work. Mysterious circumstances, no one arrested. The rather slow-moving Portland police finally arrested Nancy this week. I mean, who would have thought? If only there had been signs. And finally, what about these two jokers? Yes, their names are Alexander Petrov and Ruslan Borisov. Have you ever heard of two more clownish Russian Soviet Secret Service types than Alexander Borisov and Alexander Petrov? In any event, these are two Russian Secret Service agents. They literally work for the GRU. They were the ones who went in March to the UK with Novichok, that deadly Russian nerve agent, and basically poisoned a retired Soviet spy who was living there, plus 2 or 3 other people who came into contact with the Novichok. They were picked up on security cameras. I mean, there you can see them. They were identified, and in the process, as they scurried back to Russia, they were fingered. The Russians, of course, have denied everything. No, not at all. And these two jokers appeared on Russia Today TV, basically saying, not at all, they were just tourists. They were visiting Salisbury because they've always wanted to see the Salisbury Cathedral. Asked why they'd left in such a hurry after the dastardly deed, they said, well, you know, the weather wasn't good. It was all rainy and slushy, so we took a train back to London. Well, of course, they went straight back to Moscow, where at that point it was minus 20 degrees and snowing. I don't know, guys. I'm thinking this is bullshit. Absolute bullshit.